Good morning. Good morning. Welcome or welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Wednesday, August the 7th, and we are here to look at the new releases being set into the wild this week. Every day of the week, we look at a different genre, and on Wednesdays, we look at romance. On Mondays, we look at cozy mysteries. On Tuesdays, we look at mysteries and thrillers. Wednesdays, like today, romance. Tomorrow, Thursday, we will be looking at fantasy and science fiction. Friday, Freeform Friday, we look at whatever I feel like looking at. So ultimately, we look at at least 75 books each and every week that are being new releases. Quick announcements. I do not have sprints tonight. It is Wednesday. I don't do them on Wednesday nights. I will have sprints again tomorrow evening. I do them 3 times a week, every Tuesday and Thursday evening, and then Saturday afternoons. Good morning, Elena. Happy Wednesday. How are you doing? Did you have a good birthday? I haven't had a chance to ask you. Let us jump in. There are a lot of romances. First up, Elizabeth of East Hampton, For the Love of Austin, Book 2 by Audrey Beleza and Emily Harding. It's a truth universally acknowledged, well, by Elizabeth Bennet anyway, that there's nothing worse than summer in the Hamptons. She should know. She's lived out there her whole life. Every June, her hometown on the edge of Long Island is inundated with rich Manhattanites who party until dawn and then disappear by September. And after 25 years, Lizzie wants to leave too. But after putting her own dreams on hold to help save her family's failing bakery, she's still surfing the same beach every morning and waiting for something, anything to change. She's not holding her breath, though, not even when her sister starts flirting with the hot new bachelor in town, Charlie Pierce, and he introduces Lizzie to his even hotter friend. Will Darcy is everything Lizzie Bennet is not. Can you not write original? Aloof, arrogant, and rich. Of course, he's never cared about money. We know how this goes. Moving on. Want to write a story, be original. That's all I'm saying. 4 Weekends and a Funeral by Ellie Palmer. Speaking of being original, she found the right guy at the dead wrong time. When 30-year-old post-double mastectomy BRCA1 carrier and reluctant thrill seeker Allison Mullally arrives at her ex-boyfriend Sam's funeral to discover that no one knows he dumped her, she agrees to play the grieving girlfriend for the sake of the family. Little did she know this meant packing up Sam's apartment with his prickly best friend Adam Berg. After all, it'll only take 4 weekends. But Adam doesn't want Allison anywhere near him. Forced to spend long hours with the grump and his monosyllabic demeanor, Allison decides to put her people-pleasing skills to the test. She will make him like her. And after awkward excuse me excuse me family affairs and packing up dilemmas, the two form a tenuous friendship. If friendship means incredible chemistry and sexual tension, can Allison come clean and finally embrace the life and love she's always wanted, or will her little white lie get in the way of her new unexpected romance? Hot Earl Summer by Erica Ridley. Fifth in the Wild Winchesters series. Action adventure meets Regency romance in this feminist romp. Regency didn't have feminists. Bold, curvy Elizabeth Winchester loves cuddling hedgehogs almost as much as she adores vanquishing villains with the sharp blade concealed inside her cane. Despite others' opinions about her body and gender, nothing will stop her from seeing justice done. When her next mission drops at the dastardly Earl of Densmore's castle, she's prepared to duel like gentlemen, only to be locked inside. Her trusty sword cannot defeat the castle's hidden traps or protect her heart from the devilishly handsome rogue guarding the keep. When reclusive inventor Stephen Lennox agreed to impersonate his cousin for a few days, he didn't expect the Earl to vanish altogether. Nor could Stephen predict mounting death threats or the arrival of a beguiling, blade-wielding spinster who declares herself his new bodyguard. As the Earl's enemies lay siege to the castle, Stephen fights his way past Elizabeth's defenses. She'll share his bed, but when the adventure concludes, she vows to sever their affair, unless she can somehow convince a swashbuckling siren to surrender her heart. Dot dot dot. Love Lessons by Sydney Halston. Quirky, free spirited Valerie Marquis likes to make sure her kindergarten class has fun while learning. Uptight by the book Andrew Wexler is allergic to fun, and loud music gives him a migraine, which makes sharing a wall with the other kindergarten teacher who loves to blast music all day his worst nightmare. But during the end of the school year party, their shared tension morphs into a night of wild sex. What neither expected was a surprise consequence of that night, a baby. And if sharing a wall with her nemesis was hard, sharing a classroom with him while she's feeling hormonal and hungry is much harder. Turns out that co teaching isn't the hardest thing they'll have to overcome. Trying not to fall in love with her baby daddy is much harder. I am apparently not in the right frame of mind for romances today. The Friend Zone Experiment by Zen Cho. I like this cover. From the outside, Renee goes, life looks perfect. She's 30 and beautiful, runs a glamorous and profitable women's clothing company in London, and is dating a hot Taiwanese pop star. But Renee is lonely. Estranged from her family in Singapore, she practically lives at the office, and now she's just been dumped by her supposed boyfriend, who she never saw anyway, so why is she ruining her Instagram ready makeup by crying? Before she can curl up on the couch with a pint of Ben and Jerry's, Renee's father calls. He's retiring, and thanks to the screw ups of her wastrel brothers, he is considering her as the next CEO of the family business, Chahea Group, which one of the largest conglomerates in Southeast Asia. That stamp of her father's approval would mean everything to Renee, but can she cooperate with the brothers who drove her out of Singapore? But fate isn't done with her. That same night, Renee bumps into her first love, Yap Ket who broke her heart during university. They spend a wonderful night together, but Ketseong is pursuing a dangerous vengeance for his family. In the light of day, is there any hope for the two of them? Witty in Pink by Erica George. Keep your friends close, keep your nemesis closer. After nearly 5 years of avoiding him, Briggs Goswick may have appeared at my feet on horseback like a handsome white knight, but in fact, he is a certified man-child. Briggs may be many things: a society darling, annoying, attractive, so unfair, an heir to an elite family, helpful, but after humiliating me at a ball several years ago, he is primarily my arch nemesis. His presence has made this summer go from bad to complicated. I have the weight of saving my family's name and finances solely on my shoulders while I endure an endless parade of dreary balls and insufferable suitors to make a favorable match. But I have another idea, a business venture to save my family. All I need are investors. And as for Briggs, he is hiding a secret as well. He's flat broke. Now the person I loathe the most in the world is just as trapped as I am, both penniless, and our households depend on us to save them. And I think I know how. All I have to do is play nice with the very devil I've sworn to hate. His society connections can boost me from near obscurity to help me win over investors for my business, and perhaps I can help him woo an aloof heiress with deep pockets. It's a long shot. It might even work, but do I want it to? A Matter of Mercy by Lynn Hugh. That is a pretty cover. Carolyn Markham thought she'd put the great mistake of her life behind her when she left Wellfleet, but is forced to face it when she returns to her childhood home on the bay to care for her dying mother. Ridley Neal thought he'd put his past and his prison term behind him when he returned home to take over his father's oyster and clam farm in the harbor. Casual acquaintances long ago, they connect again during a fierce nor'easter. But their suspicions are soon raised when a lawsuit threatens Rid's livelihood and a chance encounter with the woman Carolyn most wronged results in threats and vandalism, each burdened with separate guilts and struggling with mistrust of the other. Can Carolyn and Rid set aside their fears and take a chance on the possibility of forgiveness and love? Says this is inspired by a 1996 lawsuit. Behind Every Good Man by Sarah Goodman Confino. It's a doozy of a bad day for Beverly Diamond when she catches her husband, Larry, in a compromising position with his secretary. What's a DC suburban wife to do with a soon to be ex, two young kids, and no degree or financial support in 1962? Beat the louse at his own game, that's what. Larry runs the Maryland senatorial campaign for the incumbent candidate projected to win against his younger underdog opponent Michael Landau. But Beverly has the pluck, political savvy, and sheer drive to push Landau's campaign in a successful new direction, even if he already has a campaign manager who is less than pleased she has inserted herself into the race. Now it's rival against rival. She and Michael do make a great team, maybe in more ways than one. But with the election heating up, she needs to focus on one thing at a time. If Bev can convince Michael to go modern, pay attention to women's issues, and learn how to dress himself properly, maybe she can show Larry exactly how much he has underestimated her their entire marriage and make her own dreams come true in the process. You guys have no idea how many snarky comments I am not saying. Jenny Colgan has a new one. Close knit. In the northernmost reaches of Scotland, where a string of little islands in the North Sea stretches toward Norway, lives Gertie McIntyre, a proud island girl by birth. Her there it is again. Social circle is small but tight. Family and friends, particularly the women in her knitting circle. In the whitewashed cottages of their hometown, everyone knows everyone, and the ladies of the knitting circle know more than most. In a place of long dark winters and geographic isolation, the knitting circle is a precious source of gossip, home, laughter, and comfort for them all. And while she knits, Gertie's busily plotting what to do with the rest of her life. When Gertie develops a crush on Callum Frost, who owns the local airline, she dares herself to take a job as an air stewardess on the little plane that serves the local islands. Terrifying at first, the 16-seat puddle jumper also offers the first taste of real freedom she's ever known. Will Gertie's future lie in the skies, or will she need to go further afield to find the adventure she craves? Next up, Good Boy by L. Kennedy and Serena Bowen. Hold the phone. No, that is a republish. Moving on. It's All Relative by Rachel McGee. Shakespeare's famous comedy A Midsummer Night's Dream gets a modern retelling. Helena's a fly by the seat of her pants kind of girl. Amelia's got her perfect life planned down to the minute. How will they ever get through their parents' wedding, let alone a life as stepsisters, without ripping each other apart? 27-year-old Helena Crosby is over her mom Nora's wedding, and it hasn't even happened yet. For months, Helena's been dreading the day she and Nora would become part of the Perfects, aka the Maddox family, led by oldest perfect daughter Amelia, her complete opposite in every way. Amelia owns a house, runs her father's architecture firm, and is engaged to her also perfect and dreamy fiance Gage, all before the age of 30. Helena has no idea how she's going to fit into this family with their fancy traditions and strict timetables. Thankfully, her best friend Landon is joining the festivities as her emotional support plus one and the perfect buffer between her and her new family. Amelia Maddox has spent months planning the perfect wedding week for her dad, Steve, and his bride to be, Nora. She's planned for every consistency, except for her new free spirited stepsister's deadly shellfish allergy, her brother's insistence on blowing up his life, and an unexpected guest on Helena's arm. A guest she hasn't seen in years. A guest who held her heart years before her fiance Gage ever did. Her ex Landon Blake. She's not going to be thrown by Landon's deep blue eyes and sun-bronzed forearms and the way he makes her feel all warm and cozy like she's come home to herself. Nope, she has duties to attend to, being the best daughter, sister, fiance, boss, and wedding coordinator. And she's going to bring her eldest daughter energy to it all and push down those inconvenient feelings no matter what. Through a whirlwind week of wedding activities and a few near disasters, both Amelia and Helena realize that sometimes the blueprints for the perfect family and relationships look better on paper than in real life, and that family isn't only made of the people you're born with. Family is also made of the people we choose over and over again. In Every Life by Rhea Fry. Harper's living a life she never expected. After a failed attempt at making it as an artist in New York while falling for and losing her first love, her dreams crumbled in the span of a week. A decade later, Harper is happily living a simpler life as an art teacher in Chattanooga with her beloved new husband, Ben. When Ben is diagnosed with late stage cancer, their whole world shifts. Despite the bad news, Ben comes up with one final wish for his wife. He wants Harper to find a new partner before he dies. When the New York Times sends a journalist to do a feature story about Ben's life, Harper comes face to face with Liam Hale, the man she fell madly in love with all those years ago and never saw again. Suddenly, Harper is faced with all those what ifs. What if Harper had ended up with Liam instead of Ben? What if she'd pursued life as an artist instead of teaching? What if it had all turned out differently? After making a wish, Harper wakes up to find herself in a parallel universe where her what ifs become a reality. Is the grass really greener, or is she standing right where she should be, no matter the cost? Oh, good. Saved by the Matchmaker by Jody Headland, second in a Shanahan match. After her annulment is finalized, Enya Shanahan finds herself caught in a web of scandal and obligation while carrying a secret that threatens to shatter her family's reputation. Determined to find a suitable marriage for Anya, her father turns to a wily matchmaker to save them from their circumstances. Sullivan O'Brien, a steamboat captain committed to aiding enslaved people on their path to freedom, is faced with an ultimatum from his father to marry or lose his livelihood. A marriage of convenience seems to be the only solution. As he and Anya face the trials of their pasts and a city consumed by fire, they must confront their deepest fears and learn to trust in love, even when darkness threatens to engulf them. Second Tides the Charm by Chandra Bloomberg. When two marine biologists with a complicated history are thrown together on a shark study broadcast over social media, it's anything but smooth sailing. At first glance, Hope Evans just landed the perfect job, spending the summer on a shark research boat. Except, as every marine biologist knows, it's what's going on beneath the surface that counts, and Hope's new position comes with a big catch. The boat belongs to her ex-boyfriend, Adrian Hollis Parker. For 3 years, Hope's been treading water, staying away from anything that reminds her of their past. It's time to dive back into a job that could springboard her career and maybe offer much needed closure. Since their split, Adrian has risen to internet fame as a shark expert with the launch of his YouTube channel to dispel myths and educate viewers about sharks. But success rings hollow without hope. Embracing this new career trajectory has a risk, but working in cramped quarters with the woman he never stopped loving, that has the potential to backfire in heartbreaking ways. Side by side, weathering storms of every kind, they'll have to navigate the murky waters of past hurts and hope it's not too late to chart a new course. The Great Dating Fake Off by Libby Hart. Nora D'Amato would do almost anything for her best friend. Pretend she's smitten with him to get his overly invested Italian family off his back? Absolutely. Attend a wedding for said overbearing family? Bring it. Spend the next 6 days at a posh resort watching the bride and groom's family hate on each other? Pass the popcorn. There's only one tiny little hiccup. Nora's crush, and the object of some very inappropriate thoughts, is here too, and looking so delectable that she could spoon him faster than stracciatella gelato in a heat wave. But Sebastian Rossi isn't available officially. He's here with his fake wedding date. He owes her big time for keeping an eye on his Nana while he's away months at a time for work. A week in the Adirondacks is a piece of overly frosted cake. Besides, it's not as though he can have a real relationship when he's constantly on the move. Definitely not with the cute bookstore manager he can't stop thinking about. And a wedding war zone with two feuding families is not the time and place for flirting or sexy sneak arounds. Everyone is watching, whether it's during the pickleball tournament, the angry patriarch showdowns, or even the bull riding bachelorette party. This wedding is one slipped facade away from catastrophe. And if Nora and Sebastian can't keep to their own sides of the aisle, they risk exposing the very secrets they've sworn to protect. One more, one more. The Mad Baron's Bride by Misty Urban, fourth in the Ladies Least Likely. Lita Roth is atoning for the crimes of her past in her new life as lady companion, mentor, and fixer for those seeking love. But finding a wife for the Mad Baron is a task that will defeat even clever, capable Lita. For what woman would want a man, titled or not, rumored to have killed his first wife? Lita will stay in her comfortable establishment in Bath, thank you, until a ghost comes in search of her, a ghost determined to expose the secrets Lita has kept hidden for 8 long years. Jack Burnham, Baron Brancaster of Holm Hall, isn't mad, he doesn't think, but he does need a governess for his daughter, and Lita Roth seems the woman to help him, even if he suspects she's running away from something, even if she raises longings for a life he knows he can't have. But how can Jack convince Lita she's safe with him when Holm Hall holds secrets of its own? For more than one betrayal haunts the windy cliffs of Norfolk, where the Mad Baron's wife died, and while Jack might try desperately to shield Lita from the mistakes of his own past, he can't protect her from the ghost in hers, which is hell-bent on taking away everything she's come to love. That's it. We made it. All right. Thank you guys very, very much. I will be posting this later, so you can watch it later if you want to see what the new releases in romance are this week. Again, I don't have any sprints tonight. I don't do them on Wednesday night. We'll have them tomorrow night on Thursday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. I often start a little bit early if traffic goes better. Hope you have a very good day. Hope you're reading good books. As the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom nom. Have a good day and God bless.